Hey, how's it going, guys? Domino Paris 21 here, and back again with yet another deck profile for you all. So, of course, the deck I have to present to you guys is my Jewel Knights, post set 10, of course. I've been borrowing my good buddy Warlock in 36's deck for some time now. You know, I've been taking it to tournaments, and I've even featured it in a few matches on my channel already. And really enjoying how the deck plays. And really like how the deck really caters to what Royal Paladins have always been known for, which is just simple, easy tutors to a lot of their key important units. So really love the playstyle of the deck. So of course I decided to make it myself. So definitely a lot to look forward to in the next future upcoming sets. So definitely a lot to be excited about. So yeah, I'm really liking this deck. Now in general, I can tell you that when it comes to its competitiveness, it may not be the most competitive deck out there, or at least regarded as the most competitive deck out there, but I think when played right in the hands of a good player, this deck definitely can hold its own when played right. So yeah, without further ado, let's actually get to it. So, of course, for starters, you have your Dreaming Jewel Knight Tiffany. Tiffany, I think, is a really amazing starter, especially for this deck. What she does is you put her in the soul and give 2 Jewel Knights Jewel Knight rear guards, keyword is rear guards, plus 3,000. So it's a double Morgul, which is nice. But I really like the skill. It's very important, especially late game, when you're trying to make some pushes at your opponent. Because one weakness, I guess you can say, for Jewel Knights is that they don't really hit some good high tier numbers at their opponent. And the fact is that their main Vanguards are really like the main unit in the deck that gives the most pressure to your opponent, since they do have enabled crits. The rear guards are usually lacking in power, so Tiffany helps fix that. And when you're making that push late game, it really helps, especially the fact is that, you know, crit enabled Vanguards are typically vanilla when your opponent's at 4 or 5 damage. So considering how Tiffany is very important, I feel, to the deck, I am running a second one. And also the fact is that Jewel Knights itself has a few built-in skills that can easily have you tutor into the second one, so you don't really have to wait to draw into it. So really amazing card. So rank 2 of her. Next up, for grade 3s, of course, you have your 4 Jewel Knight Ashlei. What Ashlei is, of course, she's the break ride. What she does is limit break 4 when you ride a Royal Paladin on top of her. The Vanguard gets plus 10 in a crit. So Ashlei does have the reputation of being the worst break ride, just because she doesn't really do anything special outside of just, you know, plus 10 in a crit. I mean, she's right up there with Valiant Sword Dragon as of being the least effective break ride, individually, that is. But I'm definitely liking Ashlei. I mean, she kind of works the same as Spinal Driver, because Spinal Driver gains plus 10 in a crit, and the idea is just to simply try to break right over herself a few times, and then, you know, try and wear down your opponent of their like perfect guards or big shield cards in their hand. Because what's nice with the Vanguards that enable crits is that you can kind of pressure your opponent at 3 damage. When they're at 3 damage, you can pressure them, keep them in check for maybe a turn or two, to kind of keep them away from hitting their limit breaks, while you're kind of either potentially winning the game from keeping them at 3, or you're just keeping them. You can either potentially win the game at 3 damage, or you can just keep them at check at 3. So definitely a nice, decent pressure card. And of course, when combining her with your Jewel Knight Salome, what she does, she's kind of like the new MLB, as people say. But what she does is limit break 4 when she attacks, and you have 4 or more Jewel Knight rear guard, she gains plus 2,000 and a crit. Now this is during her turn only, so she's not like the static 12k that MLB is. But she definitely has some nice pros to her. She definitely has some really good pros to her. So the fact that she gains an extra crit, combining her with Ashlei, you could potentially one-shot your opponent at 3, which is nice. But what I really like about her is her secondary skill, which is Special Counterblast 2 Jewel Knights, and you can Superior Call any Jewel Knight from your deck. So she's just an instant, easy tutor into anything you want. You can get an Ashlei too if you want, if you just want an 11k beater out there, if you run out of good beaters in the deck. But usually, depending on the situation, I mean, you can get a booster for her if you need to. Maybe perhaps after you use Tiffany, you can just replace the Tiffany that you put in the soul, or you can even get another Tiffany or anything you want. So really good solid card, and it kind of makes up the fact that she is a 10k. I mean, the 10k body, I don't think it's that game breaking necessarily a lot of times, but there are times where I just wish that she was 11k. But I mean, hey, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. And then last but not least, for my little tech of the deck is Sanctuary Guard Dragon. Really good solid card coming from the Mega Trial deck, which is very, very expensive apparently. But yeah, what he does is limit break forward during your turn. He gains plus 3,000 power for each grade 1 or less Royal Paladin rear guard you have. So he could definitely hit some pretty big numbers late game, potentially like 26 to 30 usually on average, with my experience playing this card. And what he does is whenever you ride him in Vanguard, discard a card, and superior call a grade 1 or less Royal Paladin from your deck. So the idea with Sanctuary Guard is, as you're going to notice, there's a lot of, as you notice, when it comes to the other Jewel Knight units in the deck, they don't require you to have a Jewel Knight Vanguard. So you can actually still play the Sanctuary Guard Dragon without sacrificing any skills of your Jewel Knight rear guards. So that's definitely one plus for him. Plus, like I said earlier, you know, with these crit enabled Vanguards, once your opponent hits that 4 or 5 damage mark, usually 5 damage mark, the extra crit becomes essentially a vanilla, and doesn't really, is not really effective at all. So, you know, maybe after you're done wearing your opponent down with your Ashlei, Salome and such, you can just drop the Sanctuary Guard, hit some big numbers at them, and usually if you wear them down with Ashlei's already, they don't have a perfect guard to deal with him, so he could definitely be a game finisher. And the fact is that he can still tutor into the Tiffany, which is pretty nice. Alright, so that's it for grade 3s. Grade 2s, you have your 4 Jewel Knight Tracy. She's just your 12k attacker. The condition of her, of course, it does not depend on the Vanguard. It's just when you have 3 other Jewel Knight rear guard, she gains plus 3,000. Essentially, you know, if you want her to get the plus 3,000 boost, you kind of have to have like almost a full field. But like I said, with Jewel Knights, with this deck doesn't really have too much of a problem. You know, creating a field to enable these skills. I mean, the deck doesn't necessarily rush early, and you don't really use it to rush early, but because the deck can be slow at first, but nonetheless, she's still a very good solid card, and usually a main target I search for Salome. And then you have your 4 Jewel Knight Sybil. Sybil, definitely one of my favorite cards in the deck. Just an amazing, amazing card. What she does is, whenever she's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, Counterblast 2, superior call a grade 1 or less Jewel Knight. So she's an instant tutor to any grade 1, any of your grade 1s of course, and instant +1 when you play her. So really good card. Now she is lacking a little bit in power with the 8k, but I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, the fact that she gives you a +1 is very nice, and she can help. And the fact that she's not a special counterblast, she can clean up any non-Jewel Knights you may have in your damage zone. But I could tell you, when it comes to Sybil, I definitely recommend her at 4, just because although you have Salome that can allow you to you know, tutor into your field, there are plenty of times where, you know, I'll be sitting on a Jewel Knight Ashlei, and my opponent might check me at 3 damage. Like maybe they're reluctant on giving me my break ride and letting me you know, break my Salome and pressuring him with crits and start using Salome. So a lot of times my opponent will keep me at 3 and just go after my rear guards to wither down my field. So Sybil is just really nice to draw into early and as consistently, so you can just continue tutoring into your field. So your opponent's not getting any value of keeping you from your limit break when you're on Ashlei. So just a really nice card. So definitely like 4 of them. I really don't recommend any less than that. And then last but not least, for my grade 2s, yeah, I kind of mixed them up here. You have your 2 Jewel Knight, pathetic Jewel Knight Owen. Just a basic 11k attacker when you have more rear guards than your opponents. Kind of sucks that he's kind of expensive coming from the Mega Trial deck, but which I personally think the Mega Trial deck is such a terrible idea, but nonetheless, good solid 11k attacker. And he's a Jewel Knight, that's really the only important thing. Next up for grade 1s. For Shelly, same thing as Tracy, just 10k attacker when you have 3 other Jewel Knight rear guards. So boost for 7, attacks for 10, always good, always amazing in the deck. I usually like to search her out when I use Sybil skill. And then for perfect guards, definitely want the Jewel Knight perfect guards as opposed to the Exalts. And plus I think these are cheaper anyway, but definitely 4 perfect guards must. You have 4 Prismy whenever you place them on rear guard circle, and you have 3 other Jewel Knights, you discard and draw. So really nice to tutor into when maybe Salome or Sybil if you need to, you know, cycle out your hand or fix your bad hands. So just a good card. And then you have your 3 Jewel Knight Urian, regretted Jewel Knight Urian. I don't know why they call it the Regret and Pathetic, like 0 and 2. It's weird. But yeah, just Counterblast 1, get plus 1000. It's actually pretty nice in a lot of situations to help clean up any spare Counterblast you're not using, to maybe fix columns to hit some better numbers. Like for instance, maybe Counterblasting 1 makes Sybil a 16k column. So he actually came in pretty clutch for me, you know, being able to fix my columns to hit some pretty big numbers. So definitely a good card in the deck. And last but not least for triggers, you have your 4 crits, Jewel Knight crits, 2 more of each crit, and 4 draw, 4 heal. So 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal. Really nothing special. I was actually trying to test out 12 crits in the deck, but the draws are just too good. I mean, there's nothing more than that, nothing more to it than that. Just a simple lineup. There's really nothing much else. You can run 16 crit in the deck if you want to be hilarious, but I probably don't recommend doing that because I mean heals are still too good. But yeah, just a basic lineup. So yeah, overall guys, I'm really enjoying the deck. The deck is very simple right now, and I mean it'll definitely get better with the future sets. But the deck is pretty simple but very fun to play, I feel. And I think, like, you know, the Tech Sanctuary Guard, he really does help give some more power to the deck. And Ashley's deck, like I said, actually a pretty solid card when used correctly. So, yep, as always, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below with any questions or concerns you may have. Leave a thumbs up. As always, that's always appreciated. I don't know if you can see my thumbs. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.